able to handle it, we would have been a little farther ahead than we are. But in that 10-inch pump, like that's certainly got the power to do it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that came with a price tag.
Rick has been able to pay off his royalties for the year to Troy and is starting to feel better about this year's haul. Despite beginning his season 2 weeks later than everyone else, he is proud to say that he and his team have been moving along very well and have been working at full capacity. They have their hopper feeder in place and working through their pay dirt steadily. His goal of 1,000 gold ounces for the season is more urgent than ever now that he has a clear path ahead of him with no debts hanging over his head. The failure of last year cannot be repeated, as he failed to meet his goal and barely broke even. Rick plans to put some gold in the safe as the gold prices have shot way up.
This is great. I mean, 206 ounces,
Man,
that's awesome. If we just keep going deeper, and that's just going to get better.
That's the next challenge, right?
Yeah.
He needs to turn things around this year or find a new career after past failures. Rick commiserates with his other crew members, saying that the past year felt like they were moving dirt around for fun rather than mining for gold. The past 4 weeks have been spent making their way through the cheap cut, where the gold is all found on the highest layer of dirt, practically sparkling in the sun. As they reflect on their mistakes and their work this season, they identify their biggest problem for this year. Their newest recruit, Mark, informs them that they are almost out of pay dirt from the cheap cut. This means that they have no pay to feed the wash plant, Rocky, and no gold to collect. Even the new guy knows that with only a day's worth of cheap cut pay left, they are going to have to look for new ground to sluice. An experienced gold miner, Rick knew that this was a problem that would come up sooner rather than later. So, Rick has been looking for a new area to mine. This pressing need for more pay dirt has fed the drive to explore the area and find new ground to mine. This urgency and success in the cheap cut has renewed Rick's passion for gold mining. He believes that his many years of experience have given him an edge and skill for this kind of gold and pay dirt prospecting. As Rick stands surveying the land, he points out piles of dirt that he feels could have the best gold content they've ever encountered. He points out a corner in the area that he has high hopes for, noting how all the dirt is piled up together. But why does he feel that way? Well, 20,000 years ago, on Lower Duncan Creek, a glacier once pushed up a mound of rock and dirt, known as a moraine, to the edge of the cheap cut. Rick believes that this blockage has trapped gold all up against it over the centuries. All gold that has washed down from the mother lode. If his theory is right, he has stumbled across a buildup of gold that has been growing for ages. Rick gathers the dirt and rock from where he believes the glacier created the moraine and puts it in his panning bowl. His belief is that this could be the best gold they found all year, and with the price of gold only increasing, he would make some of the largest profit margins in recent memory. He carefully pans the dirt in the nearby water, and he determines that he needs to see at least 15 to 20 distinct colors in the pan to make the area a viable location. Extending the cut is a decision that could make or break his career at this point.
You pull that big rock out of there?
I did, 2 of them, building Stonehenge here.
Where you start hitting those big boulders like that, like you're in the right spot.
The Ness crew at Duncan Creek is busy extending the cheap cut, trying to determine whether Rick's hunch is correct. Mark keeps adding to a stockpile of pay dirt that is meant to keep the wash plant running. They cannot afford to shut down. However, a problem arises when they lose water pressure over at the wash plant. This is extremely frustrating as it feels as though the team is being delayed and set back every single day, unable to catch up. The leak in the water pump is quickly spotted and tells them they have to shut down operations for the day until it is patched. All of this downtime is a huge red flag, so they decide against fixing the leak and instead replacing the water pump entirely. Carl brings in the backup and they hurry to install it with the help of a crane. The replacement won't start up, causing their hopes to come crashing down. Rick Ness needs to calculate whether his decision to extend the cheap cut will pay off. Before getting to the numbers, Rick makes small talk and eases the tension in the room. Part of being a leader is tending to one's subordinates, and that's something Rick doesn't forget. Finally, they get down to business, and Rick pulls out the scale. To reach their gold weight, Rick would need an ounce of gold per 100 yards from this extension of the cheap cut. They have run over 7,000 yards, and Rick needs at least 70 ounces from this venture. The gold is carefully poured onto the scale, and it measures well over 70 ounces, reaching 82.37 ounces. This is a fantastic showing, especially because gold prices are up at a massive $1,750 an ounce. This means that Rick has mined $144,000 worth of gold from the cheap cut extension. His hunch, combined with his knowledge of the history and geography of Alaska, has paid off in a big way. This is Rick's biggest haul of the season. Everyone is left amazed, as they have never seen such a good cleanup with their own eyes before. Rick reflects on how they never came anywhere close to this last year. It seems that his theory about the moraine was proven correct, and he found an amazing cache of gold.
At this point, it's only numbers like that we need. They kind of got to keep going up, so.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot more of it out here, right, on this property, so.
A few more hauls like this, and their season will go very smoothly. It also eases concerns that their late start in the season would irrevocably destroy their chances of meeting their gold ounce goal. It's barely September, and the weather has turned colder, covering the land in snow and slowing down operations for the Ness crew. This is a warning that the end of the season is around the corner, despite everyone believing they should still be experiencing autumn weather. Rick is upset, as he believes his wash plant, Rocky, should still be running at this time in the season. However, after helping him bring in his biggest gold ounce haul in the season only a week ago, his wash plant, Rocky, has shut down unexpectedly. The weather will not allow for water to run through the machine without freezing and disrupting the equipment. This didn't stop the team, but the more they tried to push the wash plant, the slower it would go. The longer and longer lengths of time it takes to use the wash plant end up costing them more time and money than just shutting it off. Rick comes to the hard decision that Rocky is done for the year, and now all efforts have to be focused on their second wash plant, Monster Red. While Rick understands that striking out on his own is risky, he thought the rewards would be worth it. A lot of people doubted he would be able to survive on his own like that, but so far, Rick has been able to prove them wrong. However, now with one wash plant down and the weather getting colder by the day, he is starting to have doubts. This is only his third season on his own after leaving the Klondike and finding the big gold in the mountains. Rick has invested a $250,000 deposit to purchase his claims, but the end of the mining season is creeping up, and he still needs 550 ounces to reach his target of 2,000 ounces of gold.
For ensuring that the plans are actually implemented and become something more than just a wishful notion. Although some people may characterize his managerial style as fear-driven and others as brash, there is no doubting that there is respect for the individuals who continue to support him. Not only has the no-nonsense and occasionally fiery manner acquired a reputation, but it has also resulted in the formation of a group of individuals who are aware that they are making history, or, at the very least, mining some pretty substantial amounts of gold. The mining industry is a difficult and expensive business that involves the quest of gold. The ultimate objective of mining is to recover 80,000 ounces of gold from the earth. However, the process is not only about making rapid rewards, it also involves the excitement of the chase, taking risks, and going beyond what anyone else believed was technically possible.
Yeah, I think the only way we can kind of get over this hump is to get a plant going. And we could sluice a bunch of tailing.
The primary focus has shifted away from the conventional gold mining industry and toward the expansion of the business. There are a number of components that make up the drive, including expanding operations, making investments in cutting-edge technology, and developing a sustainable future. There is a clear demonstration of dedication at Dominion Creek because the property is enormous, the stakes are great, and the challenges are unrelenting. There are obstacles in the form of licensing requirements, enormous initial expenses, logistical problems, and a persistent doubt regarding whether or not the gold is even present. To counter this, each and every obstacle is merely another hill to climb. It is crystal apparent what the vision is: 80,000 ounces of gold. This would solidify the status of the individual as one of the most successful miners of this generation if it were to be accomplished. When it comes to conducting an operation such as this, every minute counts, and the clock is beginning to tick. It's not only about digging, it's about getting the appropriate personnel, the right equipment, and aligning every aspect so that when the dirt starts moving, it doesn't stop until the goal is accomplished. Only then will the project be successful. It is the most significant risk that has been taken up to this point, and if it is successful, Dominion Creek will be nothing short of legendary. The idea is not limited to the present moment. Rather, it is about leaving something that is more than just a bank account that is stuffed with riches. To be recognized as someone who broke boundaries, who refused to take the easy way out, and who altered the way people thought about gold mining is the goal here. There has already been a demonstration of interest in a variety of endeavors, ranging from television series to the exploration of ancient mining trails and the expansion of the footprint around the globe. There is always something new that attracts interest, whether it be the exploration of technology breakthroughs in mining, the exploration of virgin terrain in South America, or the taking on of some of the environmental difficulties that the mining industry faces.
300 would be ideal, but, beggars can't be choosers.
People who work in mining have a life that is rough, grueling, and full of experiences that the majority of people never get the chance to have. Although the stakes are always high and the margin for error is extremely narrow, there are certain people who thrive under the strain that they are under. Those risks have the potential to yield enormous benefits if they are accompanied by the appropriate team, plan, and a little bit of luck. The challenge and the thought that something is being done that so few people have the courage to even attempt are what keep this effort continuing. The money is not the only thing that keeps it going. For everything to remain at the top of the game, it is the drive and the need for more that is responsible.